Welcome to this episode of Wanderlust Solo Women Travel Unscripted. Real women, real stories, real journeys, and no filter. Join Gina, your host, to share the experiences and stories of solo female travelers and advocates from all over the world, with a mission to empower women of all ages, backgrounds, and life stages to embrace solo female travel with confidence and enthusiasm, while being authentic and real, unscripted. Confronting the challenges and apprehensions many women face when considering solo adventures, providing inspiration to break through those barriers. Sharing how life transitions, loss, and trauma can lead to amazing experiences, rediscovery, and life journeys. The good, the bad, and the ugly of authentic and honest travel. So let's throw out the script, get comfy, and jump right into this episode.
Courtney G. Gauvin is a solo travel empowerment coach who helps women break free from fear, build unshakable confidence, and step fully into the life they dream of. Courtney believes solo travel isn't just about planes and passports. It's a catalyst for personal power, a fast track to self-trust, clarity, and courage. Through her coaching and storytelling, she teaches women how to navigate both the world and their own lives with confidence and intention. She teaches women how to move past limiting beliefs, embrace independence, and find freedom in doing things on their own, from booking that first solo trip to boldly living life on their own terms. When she's not leading women into their next breakthrough, you'll find her soaking up sweet moments with her family or planning her next adventure. Her mission? To help women realize they don't have to wait for permission. Solo travel can change your life, and it starts with one brave step. So let's dive in. Welcome everyone to this episode of Wanderlust Solo Women Travel Unscripted. And today I'm really excited to bring to you Courtney, and Courtney's coming to us from Alberta, Canada. Hi, Courtney.
Hi.
It's so good to have you here. I just love having guests from all over the world. And as I mentioned in Courtney's bio, she's going to delve into some really cool stuff about embracing joy through your solo travel. But first, our signature pass the parcel question. So the question that I had from the previous guest was, what is one thing your travel experiences have taught you? So can you elaborate on that? How would you answer?
Yeah, and I love this question because this is exactly what I love sharing with people, and that's the self-trust component. Is you do build a lot of self-trust within yourself when you're solo traveling, because you have to figure things out, you have to navigate, you have to make decisions on your own, like, am I going to do this, am I going to try that, am I going to go here, like, where am I going to eat, am I going to go to a restaurant, or am I going to stay in a hotel room, or wherever you might be staying. So you learn a lot about self-trust, and it's a beautiful thing because then you get to take that into the rest of your life, the rest of your adventures, and your everyday life if you're just traveling short term and you got to get back to reality, so to speak, right? There's just so much that it teaches you, like what you are capable of, what you can handle, because you run into challenges, setbacks, like even flight delays, or like, oh, maybe you missed a connection, or, you missed your travel commute to like doing an activity or something, like a train, a cab, whatever. And like how you navigate that, right? Like how you handle those situations. Like, do you let it decide how the rest of the trip is going to go, or do you move past it and keep moving forward, right? So you really build a lot of self-trust and like that confidence within yourself that you can figure things out. So
yeah, and I love that thing about self-trust, and I think that's so important. And I mean, and those skills that you learn from it, you carry through into your day-to-day life anyway. And I think that's a really cool segue into about what you're quite passionate about is joy, and discovering joy in solo travel. And I think I love that word joy. It's one of my favorite ones, and I think if we all can find a little bit of joy in our lives, everybody's lives would be so much better. It's such a little word, but so important. So from your professional experience in your career, what are some ways people can bring joy or discover joy in solo travel?
Well, it can be something small, right? Like it doesn't have to be these big moments. It's, like celebrating those little wins sometimes, right? And even before you go on a big trip, sometimes it's, like maybe you take yourself out on a little solo date. Practice getting comfortable with that, right? Like even if it's for 30 minutes at a coffee shop or like, just those little things that you can do for yourself to bring joy between traveling. And then it's the experiences you have, like acknowledging the people around you when you're traveling, right? Talking to strangers, locals, embracing like the experience, the culture, like whatever is offered and available so you can maximize that experience while you're there and learn something, grow, get out of your comfort zone. Like there's so many ways you can find joy in like simple things, like it could be something simple, trying a new food that you would never try, right? Like while you're
Yeah.
at home, like, just even if you don't like it, like celebrate that you tried it. Like there's so many ways to just like find it. And it's not always, it's not about the outcome in anything you do. It's about the action you took. It's about what you tried, what you pushed yourself to even, especially outside of your comfort zone. So
Yeah,
there's,
it's so much about the journey, isn't it? And I
it
think
is.
and that is it's so much about the little things. I think I've got more joy out of the little things I've
Mhm.
experienced while traveling. Yeah, I know it sounds really cliche, but
Mm.
watching a sunset, but
Mhm.
or sounds, and it doesn't have to be this big spectacular thing like you said. It can be
Mhm.
just taking that moment
Mhm.
to enjoy small things, and like you said too, it doesn't have to be this big overseas journey. And I
Yeah.
mean, you chatted to me a bit about how you went to a concert solo. I think that's a real big quite a big thing for some people, how did that come about?
Because I had been on a few trips by myself before, and so I was really wanting to go to this concert, for Morgan Wallen, so lots of country fans will know who he is, and this was just back in 2013, and I loved Chicago. I had solo traveled there before, and I'd seen him here in Calgary, a year before, and I just put the 2 together, like, I love Chicago and I love Morgan Wallen, so when I saw tickets, I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna treat myself. Like, I'm going back to Chicago. I loved it so much, and I'm going to this concert." And it's a stadium concert at, like it's what, 50, 60,000 people or more that they fit at Wrigley Field. So I haven't really done, and I got VIP tickets so I could have like some backstage, like some access. There was a VIP like party beforehand and whatnot, and I got floor seats so I could like be as close as possible and just like enjoy it. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and, like, the people around me, I met a couple girls that were just a couple ways away for like, a row away and, like, a couple seats over, and I met them in the VIP section, and we chatted and took some group pictures together, and then we kept chatting during, like, each artist's intermission and stuff, and it just, like, makes the experience that much better. You're all connected because you're there for the same reason, and
Yeah.
the people sitting around me started to notice, like, throughout the show, they were like, "Wait a moment," and I was like, "Yeah, actually, like, I am," and they're like, "Oh my god, like, that's so cool," because everybody seems to, like, have somebody, and I was, like, singing along and taking photos and, like, just enjoying it just as much as anybody else, right? So
Yeah, but it is so interesting because how many times have, the listeners wanted to go to a concert,
mhm,
for example, and haven't gone
mhm,
because, they've got no one to go with. So
yeah.
that experience is so cool. And how did the evening end?
It was so good. Like cause I took a cab there, like I planned my route and I was like, I will take a cab back or we're like I can navigate on my phone and I can figure out a bus route or like taking the train. So that's what I did. And like I knew my way around from being there a little bit, but I stayed in a completely different hotel and area and I made it back like probably around midnight and had the best time. Like, it was so good. It was so worth it. And my first trip there, I had taken myself to like a White Sox baseball game. Never been, and I just asked the hotel, like, how do I get from here to there and stuff? And they're like, oh, there's a train station right down the road and you follow the crowd. Like you follow
Yeah.
the crowd and I figured it out, navigated everything, had the best time and like made my way back. And I was sitting by myself enjoying it and like, with the people around you, you feed off that energy. So I highly
Yeah.
recommend it. It's worth it.
And I think that's, you know, you touched on something there about being really in the moment because quite
Mhm,
often, if you go to a concert with a friend or a group of friends,
mhm.
your attention's quite often a lot directed towards them,
Yeah.
like what are they doing? Have I lost them? Where have they gone? Have they gone to the bathroom? Or do we need food? Do we need drinks? What are you doing? Are you and there's a lot of, people getting ready and having to wait. But
Ugh.
so you are so much more in the moment when you go by far. I've never actually gone to a concert by myself, but like you said, I think because, especially big events, it's pretty easy to follow the crowd. So you're just one of the sheep following along. So it's actually not a bad way to test things out because you just follow everybody.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna lead you to the train station if that's where you're going, right? And you're gonna figure it out. Like, I didn't get lost in those times, and I made sure I asked the questions and kinda, like, prepared myself and had an idea, and yeah, you follow the crowd. And what an
Yeah.
experience too, like, on that same note where you were talking, like, how some people they miss out because they don't have somebody to go with them. On the same side, if you do have somebody to go with you that's not as passionate about it as you, it can kind of bring that excitement down. Right? So you being there with everybody else that's happy to be there, like you get the best experience. And you have to be careful on who you're asking to go with you. There's nothing wrong with going with a friend, but just make sure it's the person that shares that excitement with you, or else you're not going to have the best experience.
That's so true. I've gone with, someone just because um it's company
Hmm.
and that person either hasn't liked the artist quite the same. And then I get self-conscious because I'm worried, are they having a good time?
Yeah.
So you're so true. It changes your experience. And I think that really flows on to travel experiences
Hmm.
as well. Because when you're traveling with a group or with your partner, it's, there's a time and place for everything. So
Hmm.
not saying don't travel with your partner
Yeah,
or group or your friends.
I've had some of the best trips with friends as well
Yeah.
and my partner too. But yeah, and it doesn't have to be all of them and you don't have to wait for someone to go with you.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. We spend so much time waiting
Hmm.
for someone. So we see something come up and we miss out.
Hmm.
We lose out on these experiences because so it's what would be some of your best tips if someone's thinking of, they see an event or even a holiday package and they want to go, they're trying to get their friend or someone to go with them and it's not happening.
Hmm.
What are some of your best tips or advice you could give someone to take that first step into maybe trying that experience?
Well, and especially if they haven't done it before, like haven't went solo before, is what I kind of already spoke about is practicing, right? Is like going to that coffee shop, going to dine alone at a restaurant nearby, like in your home city, or like maybe it's a nearby city. Like I took myself to the mountains not too long ago on like a hike and to the spa and went to the restaurant and wandered around. You can practice that close to home so that you feel more comfortable and realize, like, hey, I can do this. Like anything you think you're going to do on that trip, then try it at home. Go to a museum, like, go check out like an art gallery if that's something that you're into. Go to a small concert or a small comedy club if that's what you're into, or a sporting event or something, right? If those are things that interest you when you're traveling, is start experiencing them now, and that will build that confidence, right? It'll build that courage of like, oh, I can do this. Oh, it's not so bad. There is other people around me that are also alone and doing it, right? So you build that proof and then you realize like, I can book that trip, and like you can do that first to build it up, or you can book that trip and start practicing like, because you're working your way towards it, right? Just like if you were training for a marathon, you have it, the date picked out, and you're training, you're running every day, like you're doing strength training, whatever it is like have that date set, have that trip booked, and start doing the things that you are going to be doing elsewhere, right? Practice a language. If that is something that makes you nervous, then start practicing, because then it makes you more comfortable. And then it builds that confidence in you, like, oh no, I can do this. Like, and prepare for a few setbacks. Like, okay, what am I going to do if I miss a flight or something gets stolen? Like, you know, separating your money in pockets. Like, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do some research on where I'm going. Like, so there's so many little things you can do. It doesn't take long, and just practicing and being like, and recognize like all the things that you've done in your life up to now, right? Like, there's so many things we've all accomplished, and realizing like, well, I survived that. I did this, like I accomplished this, and I put in the hard work for that. Like, I can do this too. I can go enjoy it and have the best time.
Yeah, and I think that's again really good point. I actually wrote something about this just recently that, we're more capable than what we think. A lot of
Mhm.
women, they've got full-time jobs, they've got side hustles, they've got, children and family they're looking after, and then, their parents, and they're juggling all these things, and then they go, I'm too scared to travel solo, or I don't think I'm capable, or they say, you're so brave, but they've got all these amazing skills
Yeah, they
already and
sell
are doing
themselves
all these
short.
already amazing things. It's
Mhm.
just transitioning that into using it for solo travel. And I
Mhm.
think it's just, like you said, changing that mindset of
Yeah.
knowing that you are capable.
Yeah, you can apply, like, mindset is everything, right? How we think, like those limiting beliefs, and changing it, like flipping that script. Like, if a friend came to you and was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of trying this out," like, would you put them down or would you build them up? So you can do that for you too, right? And like, you would be building all that proof. You would be that cheerleader for them and being like, "You are amazing. Like, you've done this, and like, you can do that. You've got this." And you can do that for yourself too, right? If you take that minute to pause and realize like everything that you have done or are doing, like there's so many things available to us to just like flip that mindset a little bit. And like, we just have so much proof already, but we look for the excuses first because we're scared, right? And like, we want to protect ourselves, but it keeps us stuck, right? It keeps us from missed all these missed opportunities. And the last thing we wanna see is people have regrets later on, right?
Yeah, and that's so true. I mean, it's an old saying about, in what you didn't do, you'll regret and
Mhm,
all that. But it's having, and another word you used was courage. I really think, and that it's funny. Have you had, when you have been out, whether it's just to an event solo or
mhm,
traveling solo, what are some of the comments you've received? Like, I know, like, people go to me, "Oh,
mm,
you're so brave. I couldn't
yeah,
do what you do," or "Where is your partner?" Or
mhm.
whatever. Do you get any of that?
Yeah, I did, like, multiple times, or, like, most of the time people are like, "That is so cool." Like, "Wow, like, that's amazing." Like, everybody is so positive about, like, when they're like, "Oh, wow, like, look at you doing the thing," right? Like, and because they're there with a group of people, so, they're like, "I could never do that," or like, "I'm too scared to do that," or like, "Wow." Like, they're always shocked. And like, when I booked a trip to Costa Rica over Christmas, like in 2021, just before, like, through COVID kind of thing, like almost all of my coworkers thought I was crazy. And stuff, like, it was just that kind of time. And like, I did not let that deter me because I had it planned out. I did my research, like, I knew that I could do it, and I was like, "No, I'm going." Like, I earned this trip, I worked my butt off, like, I'm going, and I was excited the whole time, and it did not disappoint. And yeah, everybody else thought I was crazy and like, "Why would you do that?" And like, "I could never." It just, like, fueled my fire even more, right?
I love that fueled your fire, and
Mm,
that's so, but, it's so funny that
mm,
we still get these questions like, "Wow, you're out by yourself." Like,
yeah,
it's still not an acceptable norm,
mhm,
as, and I still find it, I find it, humbling, and I find it, lovely that people say some of these comments, but I still
Mhm.
find it a little bit sad in a way that
Yeah.
society still finds it surprising
Mhm.
that women are out doing these things by themselves.
Yeah. Like, I do get sad too. Like, if I hear it from a friend, especially like that's holding back on something, right? And like they're missing out, and let alone like society hasn't caught up to, like us being independent and, like out there and just doing our thing, living our life, like living our best life. It is sad because you wanna see it be the norm, and, like, even for friends, like, any woman who's kinda struggling is, like, you want them to see, like, that they're capable and, like, they're powerful, and you wanna see that strength from them.
Yeah, yeah. And too, like, it's nothing, traveling solo too, it's not necessarily about being single either. Like,
Mm,
I've got a partner now,
mhm,
yet I still travel, and I think, you're the same.
mhm,
It's like it doesn't necessarily mean it's only for people who are by themselves. That
right.
might be just because either our partners
Mhm,
or whatever don't have the same interests anymore, or
mhm,
don't have the same interests, or
mm,
their time schedules don't work. And so I think that's another important thing. This isn't just about being single. It's just about I like to elaborate on the solo travel bit as about, it's more about your own personal
yeah.
journey rather than, being single. I do
Mhm.
see a separation. Do you see that as well?
Yeah, like I totally agree because I mean, I started solo traveling while I was single, and I was so proud of that and being independent and stuff. But yeah, I do have a husband now, and I still look for opportunities for myself to enjoy doing something solo. Like I said, like going on a hike or going to a museum or something, like going away for a weekend and exploring that kind of thing, like, if I can. And, I'm looking into other opportunities to, like, do a retreat or something like that as well. Like, I wanna be able to do that, and, like, you can do that with a partner, like, you can go away and come back. So, I
Yeah, and
traveled
I
for
think,
work
yeah,
for a while too, so, like, they didn't have a choice then. It's changed now, like, so, like, I'm home all the time, but yeah, like, I still feel like if I wanna go on a trip somewhere, I can. And, yeah, it's
yeah, and
not
I think
about being
that's really
single.
yeah,
Mm,
important part of any relationship is being able to have that trust
mhm,
that each partner has, can still have their own interests and activities and that, and you don't have to do them
mhm,
always together. And I think I was talking to a friend of mine just last weekend, and she's a bit frazzled with life as
mm,
you do. And so she's thinking of just about going on a weekend retreat just to, separate herself, for even if it's just for a weekend, from the craziness of having teenagers and everything else, and from her partner who's driving her mad at the moment. Just to,
mm,
just get a little bit of inspiration back, a bit of
mm,
R&R. And I think it's a great thing to get perspective as well when you
mhm,
remove yourself sometimes from
mm,
your day-to-day life.
yeah,
When you do go back, you're quite often more appreciative of what you've got.
mhm. Yeah, it's rejuvenating, it's refreshing, you get to turn down the noise, It's just I think it's a healthy thing to do, and, like, we don't do it enough sometimes, like, it's there's long gaps before you take those little timeouts, those little breaks for yourself, and I just think there's, like, so much, like, value in doing that and hitting that pause and, like, being able to, like, you know, just be on your own and, like, feel like nature around you. Like, I'm a big nature kind of person. So, like, to go on a
Yeah.
hike for a few hours or something, like, just to be alone with your thoughts and like let things flow. You do find more inspiration when you have those quiet moments. So, anytime you can have those opportunities, like, you should take them.
Yeah, I think that's so important as well. And some final tips. So, what is a couple of things you'd say about how to rebuild or to build someone's personal confidence again? What are some of your advice on that?
To build some confidence, it's about habits and consistency. One of the things I just did a confidence workshop a couple days ago, actually,
Perfect.
I do. I'm doing it again in a couple weeks, actually. So I'll send you details. But some of
Yeah,
the
do.
simple things that I, even for myself, have started doing more of is like habit stacking and like building some habits, even in my day to day routine in the morning, evenings. But throughout the day, like I have habits that I've started building for myself, like gratitude and walking every day and things like that. Right. So, it builds that confidence, and one thing that I learned is how many excuses I got rid of when I committed to those habits. So, like, example, I started walking, like, just over 200 days ago, and I wanted to survive winter. Like, I didn't wanna just be in the house, like, every day hibernating. So I committed to walking every day. So throughout winter in the snow, -20, sometimes -30. I was out there walking, and Christmas, New Year's Day, like all the holidays, I have went for a walk. And I'm like, unless I'm like really sick in bed, I don't have a reason to not go. So I built that confidence in me, like, no, I can figure this out. I can fit it into my day, no matter how crazy it gets. I start cutting back on those excuses. So, and I started a gratitude journal prior to that too. And, like now it's a routine. I hop in bed, I grab my journal. And it's just like building those habits that like are really positive and healthy ones into your day, whether they're morning, noon, or night, is you build that confidence for yourself of like those small actions. And you can also do that with, travel or, health and fitness or anything that you're working towards, figuring out what those little habits you could be doing. And that could be reading, educating on a country that you want to go visit, right? Like you could be doing that every day for 10 minutes. And it builds that up. Like you have more knowledge and you realize like you start letting go of all the excuses, the limiting beliefs or the self-sabotage. It's been really helpful for me in like as I continue to move forward. So I strongly encourage that too. Or hop on my workshop coming up as well for some more advice too.
Yeah, and we'll put all your
Yeah.
relevant info below where they can find you. That is so cool. And I might have to be taken up on that challenge with winter
Mm.
right here in New Zealand of going out and walking every day because I'm exactly the same. It's sort of very easy to hibernate in front of the fire and watch Netflix. So I might
And
have
there's
to
still
take that
time to
challenge.
do it.
Great advice. And again, it's excuses, and there are
Mhm.
excuses we make. There is
Mhm.
literally no reason I can't go out for a walk if I'm physically able.
Mhm.
So it's those excuses we make for ourselves. And I think that leads on to so many other things. So that's such good advice.
Yeah, it really does build that confidence. And the other thing I would say too that I've realized as well is when you start taking the action, it is not, and maybe I already kind of spoke to it, is it's not about the outcome. It's about taking that step, right? It's about
Yeah.
doing the thing. And that's what you need to focus on. That's what you need to celebrate. It's not how it turned out. If it didn't go according to plan, right? Like maybe you missed a day. Does it set you back the whole time? Like, I was walking, I made it, there was one day I missed out of 205 days so far, like, because I wasn't feeling well and I just had to crawl into bed. But I didn't let that be like, oh, I'm just going to give up. I'm not going to walk anymore. I was out back the next day, walking in the morning, not feeling 100%, but better than I was. So I was like, no excuse. Like, I'm hitting the 100 days. Like, so you keep moving forward and you focus on that. It's not about the outcome like, oh, I failed. You didn't fail if you keep trying. So
Yeah.
focus
I
on
love that.
everything that you do and not about how it turns out.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think that's just a great way to actually wrap up this episode. And it's just such been really joy talking about these things and, pun joy in there because it's just,
Yes.
again, one of my favorite words. So I just want to go on to our quick fire round. So I'm just going to ask you a few really quick questions and just it's not serious. So just whatever comes to your head first. And I think because we were talking about music, so I'm going to ask you this. And what is your favorite road trip song?
Ooh, road trip song. Oh, haven't even listened to
You might have to
right
sing
now.
it for
One
us.
of my favorite songs that I've played like every day has been Ordinary by Alex Warren.
We'll have to look that
It's
up.
really good. I seen a solo traveler, a girl, use it in one of her videos, and it just changed the way I heard the song, and
Wow.
I loved it because it sounds like
Can
it's
you
about a
send me the link? I
relationship.
really would like to look that up.
Yeah, you can apply it to like self-love and about yourself. So I just love the concept, and it made me love the song more.
That's perfect.
Mm.
When you pack, is it fold or roll?
A little bit of both.
You're treading the safe path there. Do you have a favorite travel app that you use?
Mm, not really. No, I can't say like aside from like using Google Maps for navigation.
That's a good one. That's a really important one.
Because it will show you walkways, busing, like different
Exactly.
ways
Yeah.
to travel when in a city anywhere, so you can kind of explore those options. So I really do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Mm.
And this is the last one. What is a first word that comes to mind when it comes to solo travel, that a positive word that has impacted you?
Well, going back to the beginning, self-trust has
Yeah,
been like
love
the
it.
most impactful, and I want that for more people as well.
That's perfect. And as our pass a parcel question, each guest gets to ask the next guest a
Yeah.
question. So what is your question for our next guest?
So my question is, what was the moment you realized travel was changing you?
Love it. I
Mm.
can't wait to ask
I
that
can't wait
one
to
to
listen.
our next guest. I just want to thank you again, Courtney. It's been so cool to have you here. And like I said, I'll put everything down below where you can find Courtney and your event that's coming up as well.
Yeah.
Are you part of it or one
Yeah,
of the
I'm
courses you are
hosting
doing?
it. I do it through
Awesome.
Eventbrite. I just offer it for free so that like people can I can just put it out there, I guess, and like help somebody with a little bit of fresh perspective in moving forward and taking action and living their best life is what I want for everybody.
Awesome. Perfect. So it's been great to have you here. And
Yeah.
remember, everyone, it's never too late to unleash your wanderlust.
Thanks for listening. Please share the love by liking, commenting, or subscribing, or join us in our Facebook community.